Okay, well, this is another near-death experience. I was living in my little cottage on River Road, and a whole bunch of theater friends and I decided that we were going to go tubing down the Blanco River on the 4th of July. And we had a friend who had a house near the park, one of the parks on the Blanco River, and he said that it was a really good stretch of river to tube down. We had had a lot of rain during this time, and they were flood rains. So the river was just engorged with water. But the rains had stopped, and it was great tubing because there was so much water in the river. So we went down to the park, and we all brought food, and we set up, and we all had tubes with us. I had mine. And we all got in the river, but we were cautioned. We were kind of counseled a little bit. My best friend was there, Jamie, and she'll love it that I'm using her name, and her tubing buddy, who's the guy who had the house close by. And he told us that he and Jamie were going to go first in their raft. They had one of these inner tubes, a big inner tube that had a floor in it, or bottom in it, and that they were going to be in front of the rest of us. And that when we saw them get out of the water and off onto the embankment, that we were immediately to get out as well, because he told us that there was this really mean waterfall downriver, and that we definitely couldn't go over that without injury in our tubes. So we all agreed. My tube sprang a leak early on in the trip. So I discarded my tube, and I almost just floated, by treading water. But then somebody said they had a noodle that they could loan me. One of those noodles, they're about this big around, and they're long, and you can put them under your arm and float this way, or you can kind of straddle them this way. Well, that's what I had. I was on a noodle. So, and it was fine. It was beautiful day. It was calm. The river wasn't angry, it wasn't tumultuous. It was perfect tubing weather and tubing water. So we're all going down. There's a bunch of us, 12, 15 of us. I'm the one that's behind. I'm the first one behind Jamie and her tubing buddy. So I'm watching. I'm fastidious about watching when they're going to get out, because I'm on a noodle and I want to make sure I have time to get out. So I keep watching and watching and watching, and they don't get out, and I'm thinking, wow, that waterfall must be way, way downriver. Suddenly, I don't see them anymore. And I'm thinking, wow, where did they go? Because I had been watching. And I thought, gosh, I wonder if I just totally missed it. And I didn't think I did, because it takes a while for you to get out of the river. And so then I heard this water, this rushing, angry water sound. And my God, before I know it, I am on the waterfall. And I can't control the water. And once you hit the top of that thing, it takes you. It just takes you. It does with you what it wants to do with you. And I get to the top of this waterfall, and there's no way that I can continue like back like this and go down like this. I went head first over this waterfall on a noodle. Well, the noodle goes, I don't know where the noodle goes, but I go head first. I don't remember hitting. The next thing I realize is that I'm on the bottom of the river. I'm probably in about 15 foot of water. And I am at the bottom of the river, face down, and I'm not moving. And I'm stuck, and I start feeling, and there are these two huge rocks on either side of my hips, and I'm face down in the water. I can feel the bottom of the river, the sand and the mud on the bottom of the river. And I can feel, for as far as I can reach up, I can feel these like stalagmites kind of growing up out of the floor of the river, and I'm stuck face down in between these two huge rock formations. So I get real calm. I never ever panicked. Not one moment did I panic. I was calm, and I said to myself, you're gonna drown if you don't get out of this, duh. So I started assessing. I'm just going to assess what the situation is. And I feel these rocks, and I feel them just digging into my hips, above my hips, my waist. And the water that's hitting my butt is just wedging me further and further into these rocks that I'm stuck in between. So I decide that I'm skinnier from my belly button to my back than I am from hip to hip. I was real thin. Thank God I was real thin at this point in time in my life. And I started wrenching myself to the side. And I finally wrenched myself, and it took great strength and great courage to continue to do this. And I finally got turned sideways, and I got shot out of that rock formation like a bullet. I just was zooming through the water. And so I start doing this, and I'm looking up, I've got my eyes open, and I see this light, and I'm thinking, God, I hope this is the sun, because I'm not ready to die. So I got all the way to the top, and I could see that I was approaching the surface, and I knew that as soon as that air hit my face, I was going to take one big, breath of air, and I was going to be home free. I had tennis shoes on too, because it was the river. Anyway, I hit the top, and that air hit my face, and I went like that. I couldn't take any air in because I had too much water in my lungs. I didn't know that I'd taken on any water in my lungs. I go down like a rock, back down underwater. And I'm confused. I'm thinking, oh my God, I was just up there and I couldn't breathe. So I struggled up, and I breached, the surface again. And I just got, oh my God, just a little tiny bit of air. And down I went again. I did this 4 times. The last time that I start coming up, I am getting really mad at God again, because I don't want to die. And I want to know where the frickin' noodle is. And I'm screaming this to myself because I can't talk, or I'm underwater. But I'm coming up, and I'm seeing that sun, I'm seeing that light, and I'm screaming to God, where's the frickin' noodle? And I didn't say frickin' either. I get to the top, and I get up again one more time. Still can't get any air in, but my God, up pops the noodle about 10 feet in front of me right then. And I knew then that I could go the 10 feet above water and swim over to that noodle. And I grabbed that noodle for all I was worth. And I hung on to that noodle until I was so spent. I mean, I don't know that I could have done that another time. Struggled up to the surface again. That's why people drown. I think they have water in their lungs. Anyway, I started just hanging on to the noodle, and I'm trying to just calm myself down enough to where I can cough. I started coughing up water, and I'm still obviously conscious, and I'm getting a little bit of air in, but I'm telling you, I was a noodle by this point. I was just spent totally. My energy was just gone, just trying to save my own life. So I get down, finally, when I came up that last time, I could see my best friend Jamie and her friend, who she was tubing with. They're like jumping up and down because they had lost me. They didn't, I went over, they were watching this, and I just didn't come up and then went down. They were celebrating. So they're celebrating and laughing and everything, and the closer I got, they could see I was in real trouble. So they helped me out of the river, and I got my wits about me, and started breathing again. But I had to spend the night in the hospital. I had a lot of water in my lungs, and they had to monitor my blood. But I was spared now a second time. So I know that my life has been spared. I don't know who or what interceded on my behalf, but I feel very grateful for my life. And I'll continue sharing with you how my life has evolved. Thanks for watching.